Hey guys, it's Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. This is the first time that I've recorded a YouTube video where I don't look like I just woke up. A lot of my friends left for college last week and this week, and I was trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing for the next month since all my friends are gone. As I was trying to think of video ideas of what to post, I started thinking about some experiences in my life that I could talk about, and nothing was really too significant to me. And then I thought about that one time I became a pescetarian for exactly 365 days. The day after Thanksgiving, I think this was 2015, I know it was my freshman year, it was Black Friday. I went to the mall, I just had like a meat sandwich, and then I was like, you know what? I told my cousin and my best friend, and I was like, I'm gonna go meatless, I'm gonna go pescatarian for a year and see how that goes. And they're kind of like, what? Like, why on earth would you do that? If you don't know what a pescatarian is, it's basically a vegetarian, but you can eat fish. I didn't order things with meat in it. If there was meat at a party, I wouldn't eat it. If there was meat on my sandwich, I would take off the meat. As I said, I started Black Friday of 2015, and I went through my freshman year into summer and then the beginning of sophomore year, and then I ended exactly on Black Friday. I didn't even eat meat on Thanksgiving. I put it in leftovers and then ate it on Black Friday. 2015 to 2016 was the year that my entire Filipino family decided they were gonna throw a bunch of parties. So someone was graduating, someone was pregnant, someone was getting married. If you know Filipino families, you know that all they do is tell you to eat and eat and eat. It's especially hard to be a pescatarian or a vegetarian if you are in a Filipino household. And I don't mean that like offensively or that it's impossible to do. I'm just saying that a lot of what Filipino traditional food consists of is based primarily on meat. It was especially hard being a pescatarian in those moments because you couldn't really eat anything at social gatherings, and you would feel bad because you're not eating the food that they offer, even though it looks super good, but it's just like the lifestyle you've chosen to live. Everything has meat in it, like the noodles, the pancit had meat in it, and I would just pick it off and then just eat the noodles and vegetables. In moments like those, it was difficult, but other than that, I would say that the lifestyle was pretty easy. I guess I'll talk about like my weekly meals. It was oddly balanced. I did not intend for any of it to be balanced, and I think that's what made it balanced. For example, if my parents usually work during the day, usually I'm at school, but if I'm not at school, I have to, cook for myself. I'm so scared of using the stove because I'm so bad at like remembering when to turn it off and stuff like that. So I think I've almost burned the house down like twice. But yeah, that was bad. I ate the worst freshman to sophomore year. It was so bad, honestly. I had a frozen pizza at least 2 times a week. I'm not even kidding. Every single week I had at least 2 frozen pizzas because that's all I knew how to cook. And if it wasn't a frozen pizza, it was ramen. So I was eating like a college student 4 years earlier, and that was honestly so bad. I don't know how I managed. Like, my friends were like, you eat the worst, but you're somehow like still skinny. That doesn't really make any sense. But honestly, I don't know. I guess it was just my metabolism and the fact that I played sports also. And that is 6 times a week you're practicing or doing some athletic activity for hours. I was involved in 2 high school level sports. I did volleyball in the fall, and then I did softball at the end of winter to spring. So I had sports throughout my whole year. And I think that also aided in the way my body looked at the time, along with being pescatarian. I ate a lot of snacks and candy just because that's what was available on my kitchen table. And my father kept buying more just because he assumed that I was eating it, but I was only eating it because it was what was available. My father usually cooks dinner, and when he does, he generally cooks pretty healthy. So he would cook salmon and spinach and mushrooms and this vegetable dish. So I'd eat super healthy then, and I'd have soy milk. It was a really, really oddly balanced lifestyle because I would eat super unhealthy, but then I would eat really, really healthy. Everything was in moderation, even though that was completely not intentional. So when I was younger, I wasn't skinny. I had an athletic build, but not toned, if that makes sense. So nothing was too big, too small. It was just kind of average, I guess you could say. I stayed between 5'4" and 5'6" for a lot of my early teenage years. And So my body hasn't, size-wise, hasn't changed too significantly. When I was a pescetarian for a year, I didn't notice results that I notice now looking back. I'll insert pictures here if you guys want to see what my body looked like when I was a pescetarian. Considering that I've been the same height roughly from freshman year of high school to now freshman year in college, my body didn't change too significantly, but during the time that I was a pescetarian, I was definitely a lot skinnier. My thighs were smaller. I didn't have really any fat around my stomach area. Another thing that I have dealt with throughout pretty much my whole life is acne everywhere on my face. When I was in 7th grade is when I really started to see how bad my skin was, and I mainly had acne pimples in this area and this area. It was never really on my cheeks, but as I became a pescetarian for a year, my skin was clear. It was like completely clear, and I didn't realize that when I was a freshman / sophomore because it just looked natural to me. I was like, well, there's no acne on my face, like that's just it. Right when Black Friday hit, the 365 days were over, I ate meat crazily. I ate it pretty much every single day. I didn't ease into it. I just added it back into my routine just like I did cutting out of it, and my acne got so bad. I started developing acne on the sides of my cheeks, which has never happened before, and I don't know if this is just like a hormone thing or stuff like that, but I used to have, as I said before, I used to have pimples in this area and this area, but now it's always on this cheek area, and it got really, really bad beginning of senior year, end of junior year. I honestly think that adding meat into my diet so quickly and so heavily affected my skin. As for results on my body, I put on weight pretty quickly as I started adding meat. I think freshman to sophomore year, I was like 125, but then when I added meat junior year, I think I hit 145, because I think that's when I got my license, and that's what it said on there. And so it was a big jump, and it didn't feel like, I didn't feel 20 pounds heavier. I also stopped playing volleyball my junior year, so I only went down to one sport, and I think that also played a role in the way my body looked. I was also super stressed. Sophomore year, I was chilling, I was getting straight A's, had no guy problems, wasn't in any drama. Junior year, all check, drama, boyfriend. Junior year is actually the worst. So if you think that junior year isn't as bad as people say it is, it is. As for where I put on the 20 pounds that I gained, I did gain it a lot in my calf area and my thigh area compared to looking back at that picture from freshman to sophomore year. I didn't gain it in my butt or my boobs or anywhere that I would have liked to gain it in. It's totally fine. It wasn't too significant. And I also cut down the weight. I think I'm like 135 now. This video was kind of a jumble of everything, but I would say that being a pescetarian is not as hard as people think it is. I think that mainly the only meat that I truly would like to still consume is just chicken, because it's a good source of protein and it's generally pretty healthy. It's not too bad for you. Like, I could go my whole life without eating hamburgers again or steak again or a hot dog or bacon or whatever, and I think that is generally what caused my acne to be so severe so quickly. From a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate my pescetarian experience as being like 10 being the most worthwhile thing that I've ever done to 1 being like, never do this again. I would say an 8. Looking back, I definitely saw changes in my body, and I saw changes in the way my skin looked, and I was overall happier just because I looked healthier. I didn't always feel healthier though, just because I was eating a frozen pizza every week. So I would rate my experience being a pescetarian as an 8 out of 10. It's not that hard of a lifestyle to live, in my opinion. As to if I would go back to being a pescetarian, I actually have this challenge with my boyfriend right now. It started like last week about being a pescetarian and who would break it first. And I was like, buddy, I've done this for a year. I'm definitely gonna beat you because all he eats is meat. It's been going on for a week so far and we're doing pretty good, so we'll see. As to if I would go back to being a full-on pescatarian in the future, I would say yes. Probably not in college just because I want to make the most out of my dining meal plan, but I would say after college is definitely a time where I would like to start focusing very heavily on a healthy diet, healthy workout routine, because I won't have all those sports that I had. I will have to start cooking on my own and stuff like that. If you guys have any more follow-up questions on my experience as a pescatarian, let me know in the comments down below, or feel free to message me. My Instagram is Jessica Stars in Space if you want to go give it a follow. And if you like this video, please subscribe and give it a like, and let me know what you want to see next. So yeah, bye!